晚上好。
不好意思，我的台湾的朋友，今天的影片没有中文的词，因为我没办法加。
Are we holding the microphone like this?
Well, because I can't quite put it in between us, so that's how that's going to work.
Grab, do us a favor, just hold this for the next hour and a half.
Just get on your knees and just
Hold
hold.
my toes. Will that be alright?
Let us know how the audio is, everybody. I'll try to figure out getting away, clip this on.
So today I felt rather frustrated because I just got done filming our podcast, the Alan and Prosy podcast, which you guys can check out on Patreon. It's a lot of fun. And that worked quite well.
Yeah.
And,
Been doing this a while.
Yeah. And we got to talking to the tourism industry here in Taiwan and small business owners and all of that, and how it's all kind of gone to shit in a sense because of the policies that are in place right now. And there's probably a lot of you watching, I assume, that's why you've clicked on this video, that really want to visit Taiwan, you want to visit friends, or maybe you want to live here, and you can't. You look like you really want to say something.
Well, the reason that we started the conversation about it was because the news yesterday published the fact that October the 13th is going to open up the visa-free entry to tourists. There's going to be... No, they've already done that, I think. But they're going to take away the 3+4 quarantine. So it's going to be a 0+7 quarantine, which is basically no quarantine, which means that it's much more friendly to tourists. But then again, we found out today that was like a rumor that got leaked. Some document got leaked. So that might not even be true. So when you heard that, you were like, yeah, see, I told you, it's going to be 2023 before they open up. So we're going to have a COVID chat, which is...
Exactly, I know. And here's the thing. Here's the problem with this video is that everyone is finished with talking about COVID because it's over in the West. No one gives a shit. Like no one cares anymore.
I care.
Well, we care in Taiwan because we're technically
Restricted by it still.
we're restricted by it, and we're somewhat stuck on the island, which actually isn't all that bad of a thing because
Yeah, I'm totally stuck here. I've been stuck here all year. I've been like...
there's worse places to be stuck.
No, but I've not been stuck. I've been to England and South Africa.
Yeah, but then
But I did use it in my video title, where I went to visit my mum. I said like, after being stuck in Taiwan for 3 years, I went to visit my mum, surprise my mum, and I did get a lot of negative comments from Taiwanese people saying, like, how dare you say you've been stuck here? Like, you use that word like, I can't remember what I used in Chinese, but they were like, you've not been stuck. You've chosen to live here, and you could have left at any time. So like, I wouldn't use the word stuck here.
I have a funny feeling this live stream, there's something up with it. I don't know why.
Why?
Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
Can you just quickly check?
What do you want me to check?
Just if like the video and audio is okay, because no one's
I didn't
telling.
get a notification.
Yeah, no one.
Did you
ever
enable
does.
chat? Oh yeah, we've had chat. We've had chat.
Oh yeah.
We did. We had some people chat.
Oh, we had one.
Maybe somebody else said one sound. How? Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, but can you just quickly check the quality? Sorry, this is annoying for everyone watching, but I have to know because I don't want to go through this entire live stream and.
Wait, now it's playing on my. Now it's playing on my.
All right, sound is perfect. Oh, Ruth, thanks, Ruth. I was talking to Ruth just the other week.
Oh, no, hi, Ruth.
So, if we just look at quickly go back and look at the history of this whole thing. You know, Taiwan. Everyone praised Taiwan for all of its.
The rapid response to shutting down the disease, shutting down the country as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
They were a world, the envy of the world for the number of cases we had.
Right, and it was like, look how competent the leaders of Taiwan are compared to our idiot leaders of the world who aren't protecting their citizens from this deadly disease that it's you know, people are dropping like flies, I think, is kind of how a lot of people looked at it. And now, though, would you say things have changed?
I just noticed that comment. I love Prosy more than my mum. What a beautiful comment to get.
Thanks. Oh, I want to read Tikio Sam's. These two guys are badasses, very handsome.
He's going to mention our dicks. He's going to mention our dicks.
Sexually awesome, very intelligent, and good looking, and definitely not French. Amazing men who wear t-shirts in Taiwan, number one. Thanks, Papa.
Yeah, there we go. And this guy's not bad too.
And there's Grant.
Yeah.
But now things have changed, I would say.
But I'm gonna use a quote from the Queen before I get into this point.
Mm-hmm.
That grief is the price we pay for love, right? Which, how am I linking that to this? Is yes, we had no deaths and we had a very low mortality rate and a very low infection rate, which was our grief. But well, which was our love, sorry, which is our benefit. But now we're having to grieve that. We're having to like continue that because, first of all, the politicians got it into their mind that being strict works. Mm-hmm. Number two, the elderly population were protected and well looked after by that what's the word, policy. And Taiwanese people are creatures of habits. They've gotten into the habits of wearing masks, protecting themselves, shutting down the borders. Yes, some people have suffered and some businesses have suffered, but ultimately, the most important people in the country, the old people, didn't die. So now we have to pay the price for that.
Okay, so
discuss.
Well, I'm going to argue against that, but before I do, I want to make it clear. Yes, we are two white dudes. Yes, we're two foreigners sitting in a pub complaining about Taiwanese political policy here.
I'm not complaining.
I am.
I'm advocating. I'm advocating.
I know. I just don't want it to come off as preachy or shit or like, you know what I mean? Like this, what the fuck do you know type of thing. Do you know what I mean? But I care about this not because of, and I said this in the podcast as well, it's not like I'm a conspiracy theorist or I have this faux care of people's health and all of that. I care about it because, like you said, a lot of my friends are small business owners, entrepreneurs, people who are really trying to make it, people who might rely on international tourism, which, and let's be fair, when I say international tourism, Taiwan never relied on international tourism before as a whole, but some people did. And I think with these policies, they literally took a gun and shot the tourism industry right in the fucking head and killed it dead. And it doesn't matter because and the reason I'm making this, I'm jumping around too much, but the reason they don't care is because they make so much money from chips anyway. They never really made that much money from tourism. So it's more personal for me. It's more anecdotal than it is, broadly speaking, of all of Taiwan. But I think the main point I'm making, because we're 7 minutes in, I haven't made my main point. I think it's high tide. Yes, rumor has it they're going to follow suit with Japan. Mason, I completely agree with that, Wiz. I also said it on the podcast. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat while making my point. It's fucking high time they end this shit. No masks, open the borders, let the money in, no one's dying. But like, just that's my take on
They're
it.
doing that. They're just getting.
They're not.
They're just taking their time.
Why?
If I'm speaking like sort of with the devil on my shoulder, to protect themselves politically. There's an election coming. That's one reason. But also, like I said at the start of the video, Taiwanese people are creatures of habit. They don't like it if you just suddenly say, okay, all the masks off. Tourism open, the borders open. They need gradual. What the hell? My words are failing me. Integration into a new way of living. It's not been they've not been living with masks for a week and closed borders for a week. It's been 2 or 3 years. And yes, you talk about like shooting the businessman in the head. If you ask any Taiwanese person, take away his business or take away his grandmother, he will keep his grandmother.
But his grandmother's not going to die.
But lots of grandmothers around the world did. The evidence showed that, or whatever was being told, they did die.
Debatable. I don't think. Yeah, but now, if we talk about now, no one in Taiwan is dying from COVID, or at least very few people are. And I just read a comment here I really want to get to because I think it's really important. It's something he said. Bartek. What's Polish? I don't know. Taiwan was the first one to close its borders and the last one to open. I agree with the one. Oh yes, this person. My wife's family is in Taiwan. We haven't been able to visit since kids and I are Canadian, i.e. foreigners.
So it's that kind of stuff.
That's the type of stuff.
That sucks. I
it
lived
doesn't
it.
just suck. It's devastating.
I lived it. I lived it myself.
So did I. Yeah, but that's why I'm making this video. That's why I'm making this point because I think it needs to be said. I think not enough people are talking about it. People are just going with the status quo. People are just going with it because it's like, well, what do I know? What can I do about it? And I think making a stance like this is important because
it's admirable that you put your neck on the line. But I'm also putting my neck on the line to risk my own family's happiness. And my son has had no dad for the best part of 3 years. But I also accepted if I truly wanted to change it, then I would have given up living in Taiwan for 3 years. I'd have gone to South Africa, made YouTube videos that nobody watched, earned less than $1,000 a month, not had money to send him to school. Like in the future, yeah, he's gonna remember that time that Daddy wasn't there for a few years. But ultimately, I didn't risk enough just to be with him. And the same for families. If it sounds
So your family isn't as important to you as.
No.
Or you're saying you wouldn't have access to your family because you wouldn't be able to make money to go see them.
It's me that suffered the most.
Right.
Like,
But that's why we're making sort of this video.
yeah, but I can completely understand and comprehend why the government did what they did. It's like
I agree
They
with
have
at
to make a
first,
decision.
At first, but now, it's I've been doing this, I've been complaining about this as if something's supposed to change because of my complaining. That's not my point. I'm just saying, I've been calling this out for a whole year, and people are like, Prazi, stop worrying about it, because eventually they'll open back up again. And that was like a year and a half ago, and it's still, like, the policies haven't really changed all that much. What was the other thing I was going to say? It's like, God damn it, someone left a comment that I really, really liked, and I'm having a hard time recalling it to bring it back. But I just don't see the risk. I don't know what are we protecting ourselves from here now. In 2022, September, why are the borders shut? Why do we have mask mandates?
yeah. My answer is like a sort of subjective answer because I believe that the government don't want to make a massive change.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. I'm not going to interrupt, but you put me back on the right track.
That's my one answer, and then the other one is that Taiwanese people will be scared if they suddenly get an influx of tourists. Suddenly, they'll be scared, and the government know that.
And there's not so much I can say to that because I'm not Taiwanese, and so I can't, all of that. But I think the someone, I don't remember what your username was, and I apologize, but someone said rumor has it that they're following Japan's policy, and I made that hypothesis on the podcast.
You think they're not going to do it until Japan do it?
I think because no one in the Taiwanese political parties, in that political environment, wants to take the risk of opening the country and having to deal with the fallout if something, God forbid, were to happen. And so what they're going to do is they're going to wait for the Japanese to open up. And then once Japan does it, it gives Taiwan the green light too, because they don't have to worry about the fallout. It's like, well, Japan did it, so no one can yell at us. Because in Taiwan, Japan is, and I say this fully understanding the risk of
Being racist.
well, not racist, but I think I'm going to get a lot of pushback from this. I think that Taiwanese people, generally speaking, look at Japan as the ideal.
Well,
As
they're
almost subordinate.
inferior.
Yeah, they have an inferiority complex to Japan.
Nice.
And
Not a bad. It's got a big word for like.
but I'm not saying they should. I don't think that's right. I don't think that they should have it I don't think they should look at themselves as inferior to Japan. But I do think subconsciously, or maybe even consciously, they are waiting for Japan to make these policies to open up. Because Japan hasn't. There's like, what, 4 countries? There's China, North Korea, Japan, and Taiwan are the 4 countries, and maybe there's more, but those are the 4 major countries that are still fighting COVID with these extremely strict policies. And Japan's policy is still bananas. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like the fact that
It is weird watching PewDiePie walking around with a mask on, and that's what people must think when they watch us.
yeah,
He's the only YouTuber I watch that
has a mask.
is wearing a mask. All my other Western YouTubers, and it is disarming or alarming, whatever the word is. So that's what your Western audience are thinking when they see us wearing masks.
Totally. I've had those comments for months where it's like, Prosy, take the fucking mask off, and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. I'll get fined. There was a dude. There's a dude who and I appreciate everyone's. I'm going to get to the live.
Yeah, we'll cut back in a minute.
But
Let Prosy get his knickers out of a twist first.
there was a dude who had COVID, and when you have COVID, you have to quarantine. You haven't got a choice. But he had a bicycle race or something that he wanted to do, but the bicycle race happened on the last day of his COVID quarantine, and he left, and now he's facing a 2-year jail term.
2-year jail or $1 million fine?
We don't. It's up to he hasn't gone to trial yet.
William is friend of me. I just have to.
Well, it's not that important. William, joking.
Daddy's working. He's gonna ask me for Uber Eats. Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, go on. So I think when you look at something like that. if someone says like Alan said, oh, I'm just sacrificing. So let me move this microphone so you guys can hear me a little bit better. Ow, in my eye. When Alan says something like, I'm just risking my... Yuka? Can I get another beer, please? Thank you. When he says something like, well, we're just risking a little bit of family or a little bit of personal freedom or whatever, I think when you look at people who are being criminally charged for not isolating for something that is, I think we could all agree that COVID is essentially just a flu, especially if you're vaccinated. You're facing a 2-year prison sentence. Think about that. You're in prison for 2 years because you left isolation when you had COVID. And there's something there's something ridiculous about that. Now, while Alan goes and talks to his son, I want to get to these comments because you guys have a lot to say about this. I'm going to miss a lot, and I apologize if I do. If there's any burning questions that you guys have or something you really want me to respond to, super chats work really well because I'm financially, let's be honest, selfish. I'm financially, whatever. Anyways, Lawrence, visa-free travel open to Western nations 12th of September. I don't believe that. I don't think that's, unless you're not talking about Taiwan. Maybe I'm taking that out of context. But there was a rumor that Taiwan's going to open up its borders. And I hope that they do, but it's not totally confirmed. So tourism, although isn't the biggest industry in Taiwan, is still huge in a lot of towns. And that's Mason's on the fucking ball. So far, Mason hasn't said a goddamn thing I've disagreed with.
Did you give him a golden Prozzy sticker badge?
I will make one just for him. Nanto, Joe Fen. Did he?
Yeah,
you were right.
He said like, Daddy, do you want to play Roblox? Which he knows.
You can't do.
I can't do right now, I'm busy.
Yeah.
But he said, but can I get Uber Eats then? I'm like, okay. Sorry, yeah. Once again, Alan infiltrates the podcast with personal shit.
So, oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. I think it's completely fine.
No, I know. I'm really like anal about audio, but so yeah, Mason. Yeah, I think he's totally right. Places like Jofen.
I think it was Mason asked earlier. Somebody asked earlier, why do I think they're scared? And the only sort of personal experience I've got with that is just once or twice making the mistake to walk out without a mask in Taiwan.
Yeah,
and people are, even if we're in a bar now, we're drinking, so it's kind of fine. But like, you walk into a 7-Eleven without a mask, people lose their shit. I walk out of my apartment, past my Guanli UN with my mask on my hand. The Guanli, the security guard is like, hold down. Like they don't even question it. I've never met one person from Taiwan with your opinion. Of like, why are we wearing masks?
That was exactly my same argument months ago. It's like, this isn't even a discussion. It's like totally a homogenous opinion on this. It's like everyone thinks, sorry, I've just got a super chat here I've got to get to. G. Vodden, maybe, I'm not really sure.
G.V. Odin.
A fellow Canadian, or at least someone who's in Canada. We are looking to travel to Taiwan next summer. Hopefully things will be better by then. If you guys are up in, you can say that. If you guys are in Kaohsiung, let's meet up. I love Kaohsiung, great choice of cities.
And the best way to meet up with us is send us super chats. So we remember you.
Or invite us to the pub. But yeah, Kaohsiung's fantastic. And yeah, if you're in Kaohsiung, let me know. So I just think these policies don't make any sense, and I hate seeing, because I didn't want to make a video, which is why I'm doing a live stream. I might make a video, but what's the
point of making a video when your live streams get like 30,000 views?
No, I know my live streams gets more views than my fucking videos do. My channel's on the goddamn floor lately, guys. But
now this is what I want to talk about. Yeah. Let's get into YouTube analytics.
No.
Later.
But I think that I was like, okay, I won't talk about it. No one cares. COVID's over. No one wants to talk about COVID. Blah blah blah. It's boring for people. It's been years of this. No one wants to talk about it. But I keep running into people like who used to own pubs or bars down in Kaohsiung have like completely shut down, completely lost their business. I have people who are in import-export businesses completely done.
Then their grandmothers are still alive.
They weren't gonna die,
but they may have done.
But they weren't. They weren't though. How many grandmothers have died in the UK since you opened the borders and people stopped wearing masks? How many people?
No, I'm talking about. Yeah, I can get on board with your theory. They should be open by now. But the reason that they're not is still valid. It's still like
No, it isn't.
it
Completely isn't.
To Taiwanese people, it's valid, and they're the people that matter because we are the minority. Would you?
That doesn't make it. That doesn't make.
Would you really
me
be
wrong.
happy if like some Taiwanese dude went to Canada and was like, I fuck. I don't want to say something meaningless.
Sorry, Ruth. I'm paying for your French.
Oh, you've paid enough by the amount of abuse Prosy gives you in.
She has given it back over the years.
Okay, I've never
Jesus.
seen. Anyway,
Yeah, me and Ruth have known each other for a long time.
what was my point? Like if I don't want to say like some Taiwanese dude goes to Canada and like complains about a policy that you disagree with, you'd be like, and this is nothing to do with being Taiwanese or even like if someone from Toronto went to wherever you come from and was like complaining, you'd be like, well, fuck off back to Vancouver then. It's not about race. It's just about like.
No,
So
I don't
I
think
feel
so.
like I tried to play devil's advocate. No. Am I playing devil's advocate or you're the devil's advocate? No.
Well, you're doing a really good job at challenging what I say, so that there's
Yeah,
two
I'm
sides
devil's
to the
advocate to your
argument, rather
opinion.
than me and you just
Slating.
ranting.
But I'm not. I genuinely believe like if I truly felt as strongly as you do, then I would take some action about it. Actually, I know you say making videos does create awareness. Edward?
Eddie. Yeah, but the issue.
No. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. I just didn't want to say where you come from.
Oh, everyone knows where I'm from, I think.
Oh, really?
No one cares.
17 High Street, Ottawa.
That's the one, yeah. I don't think. Well, see, the thing is, you said if you felt as strongly as I do about the issue that you would go and do something about it, but we can't because we can't vote.
Well, fuck off.
No.
So you're enjoying the benefits of Taiwan?
No, I think there's Taiwan. I think there are. Maybe they're not as voiced, but I think there are Taiwanese people who are so sick of these fucking policies. Especially, like I said, entrepreneurs and small business owners who are suffering from these policies. It's ridiculous. Who's gaining from these policies?
The government. The government they're getting to votes. Like it's not. It's
No, they're
obvious.
not. But that's why everyone's saying that once the elections are coming, they're going to drop their mandates, which I highly doubt they will. Well, again, I think they might be following Japan.
Mason, I don't know. Mason is that?
There are many Taiwanese people who are tired of it. That's what I'm saying.
But this live stream is painful to watch.
Why?
Why?
Who said that? Lawrence.
Lawrence, I feel
Patreon.
I am the king of painful live streams. that burns. Wow. Okay.
Is it painful to watch because it's too unrelatable, like nobody cares? Or because this is the...
That just shows how much we care about negative comments. There have been so many people like in our chat like giving us positive comments. One guy comes in and criticizes us, we're like,
Give that guy all the attention.
holy shit, yeah.
But then that's the other question too. Another deeper question is that I think, for me personally, you don't appear to know the news. What?
Enlighten us.
Yeah, I
Enlighten
feel like I'm pretty well in the know here, but whatever. Lawrence is a doctor, so he knows everything.
I was getting confused with Bill Clinton,
Oh, Bill, yeah.
which makes no sense to anybody watching. But
No, because I think they often come. Anyways, we're talking about our podcast that we host together,
that you can find at patreon.com/Alan and Prosy. Yeah.
But I think and I don't want to blame. Okay, this is complicated, but I think one of the other things I've been thinking about is like I'm not a small business owner. I just have a shitty little YouTube channel that some people watch sometimes. And this year's been a really rough year, and I do my best to try to. I don't do my best. But a lot of my stuff is like promoting Taiwanese stuff because I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I like going to little Hakka villages and trying food and like exploring. And no one. Now doing it in China, which I did do, was way easier. Because way more people are interested in China than they are Taiwan. And that's why I hate when people use, the only thing they talk about in Taiwan is in relation to China.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is stripping away what Taiwan is and just making it not China, and I hate that.
Yeah.
And I feel like this year in particular it's been really difficult to promote Taiwan because one, no one can come.
Yeah,
So-
I just want to like jump in a little because someone said it's painful to watch since visa exempt entry has been reinstated for certain nationals on the 9th of the 12th. That's not what this is about. We're not talking about the visa exempt. We're talking about mask mandates and quarantine.
Everything.
But the people can the people can come
Visa
in
free for who? What is he talking about?
for Europe, America, and they can come in now, but they still have to quarantine.
Oh, can they?
No, okay, so you just bring-
I'm joking.
But then October the 13th is when the quarantine is going to 0+7. But that's the news that was leaked yesterday that they said is not true.
That's why the part in the parentheses in my title I said you wouldn't want to. Now maybe some people would. It was kind of it was like an edgy, you wouldn't want to come. The reason I said that is because, number one, people don't really want to come to Taiwan in the first place, regardless of COVID. I'm sorry. Compare it to the countries surrounding it, like Japan, Korea, China, Thailand. Taiwan's tourism industry just isn't on that level. I'm not saying,
but you can't say nobody wants to come.
No, I'm exaggerating.
There are lots of people that want to come.
Lots of people want to come, but not as many as other countries, and so fine. But the tourism industry isn't as big as what I'm saying. But now you have to wear a mask. You don't have a choice. If you don't wear a mask, you get a fine. You have to quarantine for 7 days. If you get caught at a quarantine, you face jail.
3+4.
Yeah, but if you're just coming from the States, it's 0+7, right?
No, it's 3+4. It's all 3+4.
What's the 0+7 then?
They said that it's going to change to that on October the 13th, but that's not been confirmed. Instagram was full of it yesterday, but then today they've claimed that was a leaked document from the government. It's not been confirmed yet, which is where the Japan thing comes in. People think they're waiting for Japan to do that, so then they're going to say it, but that document got leaked. That's my knowledge of the situation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and I'm just thinking like, Taiwan is a really amazing place to come visit. I'm not saying it's shit and that's why you won't want to come. I just think, especially with the weather the way it is, why would you come with the masks and the men?
You're not going to come here as a tourist.
That's what I'm saying.
But if you've got family here, or you've got...
That's different.
Yeah. If you're going to earn like $1 million a month as a wind farm engineer,
then you might make the sacrifice.
We've got lots of friends, drinking friends, that have sat.
Yeah.
They sit 2 weeks every 2 months. They sit 2 weeks in quarantine to earn
all that.
$1 million into your
month. They're doing quite well. Steve, is that Australian dollars? Yeah, I guess.
Aussie Steve, back from the dead.
Thanks, Brazzy. You helped inspire me to move to Taiwan. Steve Irwin, yeah, I got you. Spent 2.5 great years teaching there, back in Australia now. Thinking about Vietnam next. Vietnam, man, that's an interesting story.
That's an adventure. How old are you, Steve? I would like to know, because I'm 40. And I'm like,
do you want to go to Vietnam?
No, it's nice to hear another middle-aged guy.
How do you know he's middle-aged?
If he is, that's what it would be nice to hear if he was. So I want to know how old he is. Okay. I'm not 34. Yeah, middle-aged, same as me and you. 30s.
Totally. So anyways, I don't know what to do, because like you said, you make a good point. Why don't you do something about it? I can't vote. I don't have any power here. So on October 10th, despite recent spike in cases, despite the recent spike in cases, these cases don't matter. They don't matter. You're a little bit sick. It's the same thing with the flu. I just don't get it. I'm not supposed to get it. I'm a foreigner who gives a shit. But I just I want voices to be heard, like people who are maybe too scared to say, like you said, we're in the minority, so people don't want to voice their opinion lest they be seen as conspiracy theorists. Or it looks like you don't care, right? Don't you care about my health? It's like...
That's how it is. It's like it's not such a huge sacrifice to make.
It is for so many people.
But for me and for Taiwanese people, it's not. So that's
It is. You haven't been able to see your son for 3 fucking years. That's a massive sacrifice.
I could have seen my son.
Yeah, but
I have to come back and do 2 weeks quarantine, which I couldn't afford to do.
So you couldn't.
I just would have had to spend.
No, you couldn't afford it. You just said that.
No,
You couldn't. It was a huge sacrifice for you. I can't believe more people aren't, I won't say upset, but just fucking fed up with this. It's ridiculous. Like I'm not complaining about Taiwan in any way in its whole. I'm totally on Taiwan's side here. And quarantine's fucking expensive. Mason, again, he is just, why isn't he sad? I'm shocking. But like, I'm on Taiwan's side here. I want the best for Taiwan. And I think that it might not be economically, I think Taiwan actually did economically quite well because the pandemic hit. Everyone thought no one was going to buy chips. Everyone needed chips, and all of a sudden TSMC was just like they couldn't make enough. So I think Taiwan actually did economically fucking arguably better in this pandemic than it otherwise would have.
I learned on chips. The Mercedes-Benz, they didn't have enough cars in Taiwan to sell cars, right? But they still spent like millions on marketing. Even that they were marketing cars they couldn't even sell.
Is it
Because
to stay in the know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like it just shows you how completely random topic, off topic. But like they were spending like $4 million a month on marketing to sell
Totally
cars.
stole my thunder there.
Oh, sorry.
Mercedes, the fuck are you talking
That
about?
is-
I'm not worried about Mercedes. I think they'll be fine. I'm worried
They're gonna pull
about.
through. I think they're gonna.
Yeah.
But some of those Mercedes grandmothers, maybe.
I'm worried about people like. I'm not worried about Mercedes. I'm worried about the pub we're in right now. I'm worried about the people who are working their asses off trying to make money. I mean, you make a lot of your. I shouldn't talk. That's personal. But I like you make a lot of money from domestic
OnlyFans.
tourism.
Oh, okay.
OnlyFans, yeah. And domestic tourism has actually done quite well in Taiwan because, of course, there's nowhere to fucking go. So, I think economically you did fine. There's also there's a whole other thing that about this that I also want to touch on, like as a teacher as well. Again, we touched upon this on the podcast. Go check it out. This is just a pocket picture, yeah. My kids are 4. My students are 4. I don't have any kids. My students are 4, and so they were born into a pandemic. They were literally came out of a vagina and were just shot into a mask. I think the doctor stood between the mom's legs and caught the kid in a mask. I think that's what happened.
They've been very masked up. I'll say that.
They've never, and so, and I was thinking about it because I've been teaching my kids for about a year and a half. So since they were 3 and now they're, 4.5. And I've done this before. I had a class, the class before I had them for 3 years, and they graduated kindergarten and now they're in elementary school. And I was a lot more close with my previous class than I am with the one now. And I started thinking about why, and I think a large part of that is because I can't see their fucking faces ever. They all have masks on. And when they do take their masks off to eat, I'm like shocked. I'm like, holy shit, that's what you look like? And it's a big shock to see their face. Like, it actually takes me aback. And they've been at mass since they were infants. Like, people walk around in Taiwan, for people in the West, who I think most people that are watching this, I think, are in the West. I could be wrong. People are walking around with infants, and the infants are wearing infant-sized masks.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. I went to Kending, all right, last month, and people are swimming in the ocean wearing masks. It's insane. There's no logic to it, and I shouldn't be that upset because if you ever come to Asia, there's a lot of illogical things that you look at, and I've been here long enough for that it shouldn't upset me. But still, I'm just dumbfounded.
No, it's not the law.
And
the law isn't. You don't have to wear a mask when you swim.
no, it's not the law. It's not the law.
That's
People
just
are
stupid
doing
people.
it. Well,
You're gonna waterboard yourself.
yeah, it's potentially unsafe. But also, developmentally speaking, when it comes to children, I wonder how infants who are born into masks, when you look at what's important for an infant to learn, it's like gross motor skills, get control of your body, grow the gross motor muscles, and also facial recognition, emotional recognition, stranger recognition. Like, if you get into an elevator with an infant, what's the infant doing?
Looking at you.
It's staring right at you.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to figure out, like,
You're friendly or not,
this
yeah.
is new. Yeah, are you friendly? Are you talking to the mom? How are you interacting to the mom? Is it angry? What's the smile going on? And when you're wearing a mask, there's like this, none of that is there. And of course, we won't know how this affects people who've grown up in this pandemic up until, obviously they develop in the years. And what's that going to do socially to people? And like you mentioned, it's the same thing with phones. Like, phones are a relatively new thing. We won't know what phones are doing socially speaking until we can do studies years on. Maybe we'll never know. Who knows?
So in the future, we're all going to die from brain cancer from phones, and Taiwanese kids are going to be axe murderers.
They're going to be fucking psychopathic killers. Exactly. Yeah.
So what's the point anyway?
So yeah, but I found as a teacher, it's had a massive impact on me as a teacher because I've never. I was just telling you, I've been teaching these kids for a year and a half, which is like crazy. Like that. Normally, you have a teacher for a year and you get a new teacher.
Yeah.
I've been teaching these kids for a year and a half, and I met one of my students' parents for the first time in person.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, you guys
Relax,
can still hear me, I think.
they're
I know. It just I'm fucking like OCD about that. I think they
Imagine
can
your
hear me.
phone was here. You'd be able to hear you. That's what it was
Yeah,
like. Your phone is there.
And And so anyways, and it was amazing. Like, they shook my hand, and it felt so good to, like, talk about their kid and what she's doing and what she's good at. And
Which
like,
is stuff you
see-
took for granted 3 years ago.
I know it felt good then. But,
No, but what I'm saying is it's part of the job. Like,
yeah, but it's the best part of the job because you get to see the smile on the parents' faces, and you get to, like, they're so happy and they're so proud. And a lot of them just want to say, like, thank you. I'm sucking my own dick here, but a lot of them just want to say, like, thank you, because they see how their kids have progressed and developed and how much they change, and they just want to thank you for that, for your involvement. And I want to thank them, and it's like, it's just such a feel-good moment. And it's so weird because it's like, I see your kid every day for 9 hours in a mask, fair enough, but like every day for like 9 hours a day, and this is the first time I've ever fucking met you. It's such a weird interaction.
but that's what you're talking about now. Is like, this is like a 2 years old conversation. The masks are shit. But what we're trying to get into on this live stream is why are they still here? Why are they still here?
That's the main point, but I think not even just everything, it's just all bullshit. Let it go. The UK, it's fine.
I think there's still people dying from COVID.
I don't think they're dying just from COVID.
But if they didn't
I
have
don't think they
COVID,
ever
maybe they
were.
wouldn't die. Like Taiwan's still got like 20, 30 people dying from COVID every day. So they don't
I
want
don't think 20 to 30, sorry, say that again?
I have no idea of the numbers. But there's still like people dying from COVID in Taiwan.
No,
Or being classified as dying from COVID in Taiwan. That's why they're worried.
classified, that's the key though, right?
So unless you're going to go and fight the doctors and the people that are registering it, you have to accept the repercussion of that. Unless you're going to be some investigative journalist that's going to go and analyze those numbers, you have to follow the rules. And that's what 99% of people are doing, is just
I
follow
think
the
the
rules.
rules are bullshit. I think
Then
it comes
fight
down to
them.
the person. Yeah, that's what the fuck I'm doing. I think
Go
here's.
stand on the street, don't sit in a bar with a pint of beer all
No,
comfortable.
I'm standing on the street talking to I'm doing this talking to way more people than I would on the street.
They're all in Canada and America. Like, they don't give a fuck. They just care about you. Go stand in
they
Parliament
care about Taiwan. I
outside,
know that. I just
outside.
lost 25 viewers right there, like bam.
When I started talking.
No, but I think that the rules are bullshit, and I think it comes down to the person. Like, just to give you an example, my best bud growing up, this is a Jamaican guy I knew. His mom was going through chemo, and we were in his room playing video games, and she came in and said, "You can't have friends over because I'm going through chemo." And I was like,
She said that
fair
in front of
enough.
Well, oh shit, that's sick.
She's going through fucking chemo. Like, you can't be around someone with chemo has an incredibly weakened immune system.
Yeah.
They need to be extremely careful about who they're coming into contact with.
Okay. I thought you meant she just. Okay.
No, she wasn't being a cunt. She's like, if you have any
bring in
germs, I
germs,
can.
yeah.
And so with COVID, I think it's the same thing. I think if you have someone who's got a compromised immune system or a pre-existing health condition, it's not up to me, as shitty as this sounds, to wear a mask or stay home or do all these stupid fucking things when you're the one with these health conditions. And it sucks. It's not like I don't sympathize with that or I don't think it's awful. But I think that punishing the entire population of Taiwan for these small select people, it just doesn't make sense.
For me, if wearing a mask can stop me infecting or transmitting a disease to someone.
You're not wearing one right now.
No, if the bartender told us she was having chemo,
Why the fuck are you working in a bar?
if just for example, I would not question wearing a mask. I would just not wear it to save someone's
You
possible
wouldn't look
life.
at that person and be like, "What? You've got chemo." And
I know, but I'm saying, like,
you're working in a bar. Are you retarded?
If I was having a new baby,
Sorry, you can't say retarded anymore. Sorry.
yeah, you just say spazzy.
I haven't heard that one in a long time.
That's what I watched the Andrew Schultz podcast, and he had KSI and they were talking about it, and it was like retarded and spaz is the same thing in North America is retarded, but in England we say spaz. We don't say spaz. That's the point.
You also have a lot of other weird words, totally off topic, like geezer. In Canada, that means a really old person.
Yeah, we did that in the.
Yeah, but anyone's a geezer. Or does
It's
it
like your
women?
mate, like buddy, or geezer. Anyway,
I have to pee so bad. Let's run through these comments really quick because we're getting to the end of it. I don't want to take you guys. Should we just let this run? Or how are you feeling?
no, I'm good to wrap it up if you want to.
All right. It's a Friday night. I gotta go pee. If you want to take care of some of these.
I'll do some comments. I'll do some comments. I think people are mainly talking about where they come from. Let's take a look. 175 viewers. Please have more when Prozzy comes back. Don't let him blame me for losing subscribers. He's still reaching 200 people. Alan, I've lost 90% of my respect for you after this live stream. Time to move on in the world. Okay, Brett, there we go. Talk to me about that. Like, give me more information about why you've lost respect to me. I'm just providing an alternative argument to Prozzy's. Whoa. People are watching from mainland to here. Quotation for what? Seems like a lot of viewers are in Taiwan. I have no idea. I've just seen Prozzy's statistics. I know that most of his viewers are from the West. Taiwanese here. Relax. What have I done to make people think that I'm not relaxed? Seems like a lot of viewers are in Taiwan. I got somebody tell me that they've lost a lot of respect for me, but I don't know what for. Oh, shut up about grandma. See, now that lost in bunga. Shut up about grandma. I'm not saying that I'm protecting grandmas. I'm saying that Taiwanese people are protecting grandmas. That's what I'm saying.
Then grandma can go get vaccinated. Protect herself.
I'd be happy to die if I let others be free.
That's an interesting point as well. Alan, let's ask the grandma about their opinion in the UK. Grandmas didn't like being in lockdown mandates and all of that.
But the UK is a different society. It's not a matriarchal society as like Taiwan is.
Fair enough. I guess you do have to look at.
The one thing I really don't like is being criticized on someone else's channel where I'm not earning a fucking penny.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That's just joking.
$21 I've made so far.
Oh,
spewing my opinion.
Yeah, you got 4 extra viewers when you went to the boat. 100% Prozzy didn't wash his hands too fast to unload those pints. He didn't. What is it, that joke where in the Navy we wash our hands? In the Marines we don't piss on our fingers.
Yeah.
Grandma can stay home. Jesus, we got a lot of people who want their grandma to die.
No, you're just taking the piss now.
I'm like 17% offended.
But here's my thing. Is like, you don't care.
About what?
Like, you don't care about the mask mandates to an extent,
It's
right?
not the mask mandates I care about. It was like the quarantine. The quarantine is what fucked me up.
So, but then why are you?
I'm answering people's questions as a person who's lived in Taiwan for so long on my belief of what Taiwanese people think. I might be wrong. I might have a warped sense of opinion. I might have a rose-tinted spectacles on. All of that. But I just like to think that Taiwanese people have different values to Western people. There's no Taiwanese people in your audience. There's no Taiwanese people here. They're all English comments.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's...
This is all a lot of Lawai86 fans coming here because he doesn't live stream or he doesn't respond to their comments, so they think they can get a rise out of us.
But doesn't that... So you don't think that their opinions matter on this topic just because they're not in Taiwan and they're not Taiwanese?
I know, I'm so offended, but I'm winding everyone up. But like, it's true. It's like, there's no... Here we go, we're gonna get lots of Taiwanese people. What's a Taiwan right now? What's a Taiwan right now? Okay, well, Anne, you didn't pipe up until I said...
You're just getting proved wrong now.
You don't think I know how to make a live stream and get people to comment with your chat?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
There
we go. Here's a Taiwanese person. Look, greetings from Vancouver. You gotta be Taiwanese.
You can't get more. It is Bill Chow.
Yeah. No, I think that, and that's what I said at the beginning of this live stream, is that I struggle with sharing my opinion on this because I'm not Taiwanese. So what business do I have having an opinion on Taiwanese policy? But maybe I should just shut my mouth. But I think that I wonder if there are Taiwanese people with the same opinion as me who don't voice it.
Yeah, I get what you're doing. Like,
I'm not trying to like ruffle feathers. I think that this is a genuine matter to care about, because I think that there are a lot of people that suffer from this. I mean, and I want, especially as a YouTuber, like selfishly, I guess, I want Taiwan to enjoy a bigger stage, a bigger spot on the international stage. I want people to come to Taiwan. There are mountains to climb. There's beaches to swim in. There's scooters to ride. There's food to eat. There's beers to be drunk. There's locals to be met. There's so much to do here that's completely untouched. And I want people to come here because I want Taiwan to have a bigger influence. Not necessarily influence, but I want people to care about Taiwan the same way that they do about Japan, Korea, and China. And these policies are making it fucking impossible, and it's frustrating because I'm not looking at like Mercedes-Benz or these huge companies or TSMC who will never run out of money. I'm looking at everyday regular people, and it's like, it sounds like bullshit because it's like, fuck you, Prezi. What do you mean? This faux caring. Like, you don't give a shit, but it's true. Like, my friends who I care about are small business owners that are losing out on this, like I said, and I think it's just, I'm done. It's fucking, it's just annoying. And I've been like slightly complaining about it on like other people's podcasts for the last like 2 years. I think I should make a proper video about this because it's like almost like a documentary. But then again, no one cares about Taiwan. Even less people care about Taiwan's policy on COVID. So like that would be a complete waste of my time. Or maybe not. I don't know. That's why I'm kind of testing the waters to see what people think.
Well, my point earlier about your audience is the. I mean, if anybody in America or the West or England, if they care about Taiwan, they know about you and they know about Sea Milk and they know about Winston. So that because it's the only access in, other than like TaiwanNews.com, which is very biased, other than like the BBC News Asia. So like you guys are like, I mean, me too, of course, like to some extent. Yeah. But like any guys with a vested interest in Asia know about that, and they come to these podcasts to have their opinion, but they're only giving their opinion based upon what they know from. No, that's wrong. I can't say that because a lot of them have been here too, or that they want to be here, or they want to come and experience the Taiwan that you've just described. But I just want to have a different opinion. How boring would it be if the whole
the rainbow? Is that what you're gonna say? How boring would it be?
I was actually going to say how boring would it be if we both had the same opinion, but then as soon as I started to say it, I reminded myself.
Sorry, are you trying to distance yourself from what you've said in the podcast? You're just trying to play devil's advocate, or? Or it depends on what we're talking about.
If you gave me like 10 things to list that I care about in the world, wearing a mask is not one of them. The top 10 things I care about in the world is not that. I made a video where I made Wei Zhajiangmian with soup and didn't make it with dry noodles. Can you believe how ashamed I am of myself? Can you believe how much I have to
That's really bothering you. Yeah.
No, it's not at all. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Taiwanese people are commenting on my video in their hundreds about me making the noodles the wrong way, whereas the foreigners are caring about the masks. Taiwanese people don't care. Do I have to wear a mask? Check the news today. Do I have to wear a mask? Yeah. Okay, I'll wear a mask.
I disagree. I think there's a lot of people who hate the mask.
They're tired of it, but they're not tired of it enough to make a podcast or go to lobby the politicians. They just follow the rules.
Well, I don't know. Well, for me personally, I can't fucking stand them. It's hot.
Write about death race. I don't know. I don't know Google like numbers, but
yeah.
Quarantine is ending in October. But that's again, I've heard
who
that's
knows?
a rumor.
Again, we don't know that for sure. That's a leaked thing. We're hoping. Masks are rough, but it's whatever. The worst is quarantine. Quarantine sucks, but like masks, when it's 40 fucking degrees outside, masks start to suck really bad.
Okay, but where do you go when you're outside?
On my way to work, when I play outside with the kids.
You don't have to wear a mask on the scooter.
That was really recent.
Before I went to England, like August. But anyway, you don't have to wear a mask when you're exercising, when you're walking somewhere. You only have to wear a mask, really, if you go into 7-Eleven.
I reckon you get yelled at.
So what? Let them fucking yell. Get yelled at for a lot of things.
I still think the mask. Personally speaking, I know you're saying no one gives a fuck in Taiwan, but for me, I find it annoying. It's like a fucking, and especially because I work with kids all day, and kids are disgusting to begin with, and now you're sticking a mask over their face, and you're keeping all of that shit just right here in the respiratory
you have to
system.
Wear a mask in school. That sucks.
Fucking gross. Yeah, all day I gotta wear a mask. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I care about the quarantine. It's irritating, but it's not my main concern.
Marco, you don't have to wear a mask if you walk. I mean, they were really wishy-washy about that. They were like, if you can prove you're exercising, and technically walking is exercising. Oh shit. Let's see here. You don't have to wear a mask on motorcycles anymore.
That's Mason. You're mimicking your best friend.
Yeah, my best buddy.
best friend.
You technically don't, but everyone wears a mask anyway. Tam's English room. You're on the right track. It should make sense, and it doesn't. Damn right. Some rules are trash and just meant to control you. Conspiracy. All right, I think it's Friday night. Hey, Browsy, love your content. Why would
I
I?
want to wrap it up until you
I
say
know.
love your content.
Why would I come to Taiwan when I could just watch your videos? Good point. Why would we go anywhere? We could just Google Map Street View. You're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's Friday night. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. We've been doing this for 50 minutes. Thank you guys so much for your patience and listening and taking part in this discussion. You know, you can comment once this goes up. I'll leave it up. I always leave my live streams up because they, for some reason, get views. I don't know. Why do I put?
How do you say mask in Spanish?
I don't know.
Viva la mask. That's what I want to say to end the podcast.
I thought that was French, like Vive la France.
Vive la France. Viva is Spanish.
I should learn more French, but when I was a kid, my dad made me watch French TV, and all my friends were watching SpongeBob SquarePants.
What were you watching?
Bob l'Esponge. I had to watch Bob l'Esponge every Thursday morning on Nickelodeon.
Do you know in Chinese?
No.
Hai mian bao bao, hai mian bao bao, hai mian.
Ocean
No,
baby.
hai mian is sponge.
Oh, I thought it was like high, like high.
Oh, yeah, it's from the ocean. Hai mian, high cloth, the sponge cloth, sea
it?
cloth.
Oh, okay.
Because a sponge is an animal.
Oh yeah.
So hai mian is a sponge.
You know what? Because he's yellow, I always thought he was a dishwashing sponge.
Well, they originally were. That's where they come. But now we have synthetic sponges. But a long time ago.
Fuck off.
My grandmother still has a real sponge in her shower. Don't ask me how I know that. Her shower is open bathroom.
Don't.
can
People are
wash
gonna click off because I said goodbye. Hang on.
A sponge
You
is
wash yourself with an animal.
a sponge.
Is it a plant or an animal?
It's like a mushroom or something. Eddie, is a sponge an animal?
It's alive, but I don't think it's that.
It's a cross between a plant and an animal. A bit like Prozzy.
Yeah, I'm also a waste pipe, according to him. Animal, like coral.
Yeah, like
Coral's not an animal,
It's
is
an
it?
animal.
Coral's an animal.
Yes.
Fuck off.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
It isn't.
How many days of school did you miss? What did you miss? What did I just tell you before at the podcast? And there was something you were like, no, and you were like, wait until the next week.
Oh, there's no tigers in Africa.
Yeah, he believes there's tigers in Africa.
Of course, there's tigers in Africa.
And there's penguins at the North Pole.
Did they go in the jungle?
The tigers?
Yeah.
Tigers are from India.
No. I mean, no, there's some, like Bengal tigers from India.
Well, the Bengal tiger is Bengalese, which I believe now is part of India. But there's no tigers in Africa. But the giraffes do all the high cleaning windows. They lick all the windows clean on the second floor. That's what I told my students. Look, he's not a science teacher, I guess. Yeah,
They live in forests. There's forests in there.
We've gone over 200 views.
You have African forests.
Oh, actually, I can practice my.
Tropical. It's in the tropics.
Jungles.
Yeah, I guess so, but there's no tigers there.
I'm sure you've got tigers in Africa.
Okay.
I know there's no bears. I learned that last week. I thought maybe there might have been some.
You thought every jungle is like a Jungle Book. So
Like a little bit.
They have bears, tigers, lions. No, it's...
Do you have squirrels in Africa?
I've never seen a squirrel in Africa, no? Yeah. Is that a perfect time to end the podcast?
I guess, sorry.
I've never seen a squirrel in Africa. Ah, bless the squirrels!
And the tigers!
Oh, there's no squirrels. I remembered. Tigers ate them all.
That's gross. You wash yourself with a sponge.
A real... No, I remember my grandmother's got
Is it
one.
dead when you wash it? Like when you... Do you kill it when you wash yourself with it?
Well, the thing is, right, if you get two sponges
Yeah.
and you dye one red and one blue and put them in a blender and blend them up, and then you put them together again. The red and the blue will form themselves back together again.
What the fuck?
Because their DNA is like meant to be together.
Are they alive?
What it's like is.
I mean, like when you're in the shower and your nan's
I guess
having a
I
wash,
guess
is that live?
It's like a loofah. You know a loofah?
A Luftwaffe.
A loofah for washing it, like a long vegetable thing.
Yeah.
That's also a vegetable that you wash yourself with.
It is it. You're full of shit.
A loofah. Loofah. It sounds like every day I'm shuffling. Loofah. I think I'm getting a little bit drunk.
I think I'm so dumb. I think everyone's gonna laugh
They're
at
dead.
me now.
They're dead in the shower.
Oh, they're dead in the shower. I had no idea.
Mu guabu. Tai guabu. Tai guabu. Tai guabu. It's a sponge.
Yes.
Okay, sorry guys. I started this podcast on a really I wouldn't say intelligent, but I had good points and I was well researched and I tried to be well spoken and really drive my point home. And then I end this thing on there's tigers in Africa. So like I said, I'm retarded. So take with what I say with a grain of salt. And cheers. Happy Friday, everyone.
Gambe. Viva la sponge.
Be safe. I apologize. I haven't had videos out for a while. I got a bunch of good ones in the bank, but I missed you guys, so I started this podcast. Anyways, there's tigers in Africa.